Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jini, and in today's video I'll show you guys a full gameplay of the Tamagotchi Umino, or also known as the Tamagotchi Ocean. We raise it together from the egg to adulthood. Yes, you heard me right. I actually managed to raise it to adulthood. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely was a challenge, maybe the hardest challenge considering Tamagotchi I've ever faced. So at the end of this video I want to conclude all of my lessons learned and hopefully can help you raise your Umino to adulthood as well. Yeah, as always, I don't want to talk too much, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, here it is, the Umino Tamagotchi, and as always, we need to set the time first, so let's do that. Buttons are quite responsive. Okay, let's see. So this is our little ocean egg and we'll wait for it to hatch. The Umino, if you didn't know, is one of the hardest Tamagotchi to raise and take care of because it's incredibly needy. I managed to get an adult once on this one. I do think it was even a good care character, but other than that, I don't think I've ever managed to raise an adult on this Tamagotchi. That's how bad it is. Yeah, but maybe I'm just a little bit neglectful. Yeah, I'm very excited because I love this Tamagotchi. I love sea creatures a lot. I think they're just so interesting. I mean in real life, but for Tamagotchi characters I also love them. I feel like there are not a lot of Tamagotchi that feature sea creatures. By the way, I also really love the Digimon Pendulum Deep Savers because of that exact same reason. I'm very excited for this run. We'll definitely make use of the pause function and hopefully it'll work out. Here's our little baby. Let's go through the menu together. So the first, as always, is the status. We can see the age, we can see the weight. The first stats menu is for the water quality, and if one of the skulls turn dark, we need to flush. And the second icon is for the hunger meter, and this one is for the happiness, and this is for the discipline. We know that feature from the generation 1 and 2 already, and that's it. So the first one is for feeding your tama. I'll do that real quick. And the second one is a snack. The third icon is for playing with your tama. It is purely luck based. Now I'll show you guys the mini game. So the goal is to get the chest with the gold in it. And not the empty chest. You need 3 out of 5, and 1 successful round of winning the minigame gives you 1 happiness heart. The fourth icon is for flushing the water. This icon is the medicine, and this icon is for turning the lights on and off. And the last icon here on the bottom right will light up when your tama is calling for you and requires your attention. There are actually attacks that can happen and you need to chase away the predator, and we need to press the first button and quickly tap the case in order to chase away the predators. But the attacks will only happen after the baby stage as far as I know. So our tama just got sick, so I'll give it the medicine. And that's it, I think. It's still calling out for us though, and it got hungry again. It's only been a few minutes, I think. And he evolved, guys. I think he's supposed to be a jellyfish. Very cute. So he's calling it out for me, but I cannot see... Oh, I do think I need to discipline him then. Yes, it disappeared, so it was a discipline call. Oh, guys, I dread this game. I feel like you could play forever and still not have results if you're very unlucky. Ironically, I won this game first try. Oh no! Yeah, I wanted to record this anyways. Sometimes when you're playing the minigame, an octopus could appear and it will spit out ink across your whole screen, and you need to flush 4 times in total to get rid of all the ink. If you don't do that, I think your tama can get sick and all the happiness is gone. You see, that's why the minigames are just so hard for me. I do like it because sometimes you just want a more demanding Tamagotchi, you know? And you want to be needed, if that makes any sense. When I have the time, of course. If I don't, it will only stress me out. But when I have a lot more time at hand, I like to have a needier Tamagotchi just because it engages me a lot more. Okay guys, so I just noticed this predator. I think this is the polar bear at the edge of the screen. And then you need to select this icon and tap on the screen to chase away the polar bear. And that's it. Okay guys, so I think my Umino is dying. I can't do anything. It just suddenly started beeping. It's dead. This is so sad. I mean, it's not the first time it happened. Yeah, I don't know. It's always sad. So let's get a new egg and start again. Yeah, that's the thing with the Umino. You need a few runs to get to the adult stage. I do think it's a challenge, but I think it's actually quite fun to try. And he evolved yet again. Now let's cross our fingers that he will make it to adulthood. First, let's put him to sleep. Here. Good night and see you guys tomorrow. So it hatched at 11:09, and now first thing you want to do when it hatches is to feed it 4 food items and then 4 snacks, just to make it quick. And now we observe the happiness and the hunger meter, and ideally you want the hunger meter to go down really fast, a lot faster proportionally to the happiness meter. According to the guide of Gotchi Garden, the heart rate loss ratio, so how fast the hungry hearts deplete in comparison to the happy hearts, is very important and determines the chances of raising your tama to adulthood. If we lose 4 hungry hearts and only 1 happiness heart, the chances of getting to adulthood are 90%. But if by the time you have lost 1 happiness heart, only have lost 3 hungry hearts, then the chances already decrease to 50%. And if the hungry and happiness hearts deplete at the same time, or are roughly the same, so 1:1 or 2:1, then the chances of getting to adulthood are only at 5%. But if the hungry hearts deplete too fast, so 5:1 or greater, then the chances of getting to adulthood are again at 50%. I hope that was somehow clear and not confusing. So let's check. This looks very good. So we already lost 1 heart and it's only been 2 minutes and we haven't lost any happiness hearts. So I'll note that down and we'll check again in a few minutes. So the Umino just called out for me and let's go check. All hungry hearts are depleted and only 1 happiness heart is depleted. So we have a ratio of 4:1, so very, very good chances of it surviving. Okay, I can show you guys the chart on the right side, but basically 4 hungry hearts depleted, and while that happened, only 1 happiness heart depleted, so we have a ratio of 4:1. And that means we have a chance of 90% of raising this specific tama to adulthood. Currently, this character is called Plankton Chi. It is actually recommended to reset the device if your ratio is worse, and let's hope for the best because a chance of 90% of getting to adulthood still isn't 100%. I'm still trying to not attach myself too much to this little Plankton Chi. One thing I really like about the Umino is that the time screen just appears like that. So there's no sliding animation and it just appears like that. Okay, as you can see, it just got sick and will now treat it, which is this icon. Shouldn't take more than 2 shots. Oh, this is good. Okay. And our Planktonchi evolved into Kuragechi, who we made it past the baby stage, which I'm really happy about. So he evolved 1 hour after hatching. That's not a lot, but it was very needy. So Planktonchi was calling out for me like every 10 minutes or so if you don't fill up the happiness meter all the way. Don't mind the unfinished crochet case. I'm trying to figure out how to crochet it in the best way. Right now, Kuragechi is calling out for us, and his meters are not depleted, so we need to discipline him. And then the icon will disappear. Oh, we filled up the discipline meter by 4, which is pretty nice. And he didn't lose a happiness heart. That's what I'm always concerned about when disciplining my tamas. I basically cannot cure our Kuragechi anymore. I don't know what exactly happened. I think eventually he'll pass away. So I think I will restart here now and start over. I think I may have missed a polar bear attack. Even if he wasn't sick, I missed it, and I think that caused him to get injured in the later run. I think I can imagine that this is what happened. Now let's do it all over again. The screen is also lit by natural light during daytime hours from 6 AM to 7 PM. So I don't think that's my fault. I think it just automatically turned on then. We succeeded! Nice! So, a little update on my Umino. Our Kuragechi is now 2 years old. He's 10 grams, a little bit heavy, so I probably should be playing with him a little. So in the guide that I will link in the description box, it says that Kuragechi needs 49 hours to evolve to the next stage. So today it should happen. I'm very excited to see if he'll make it. So far, he's been quite needy. I am hesitant to fill up the happiness meter all the way because there's always the risk of getting an octopus when you play the chess minigame. So I try to stay between 1 and 2 hearts, but because I tend to stay on the lower side of the happiness hearts, my Umino is calling out to me like every 15 minutes or so. Yeah, so it is definitely a demanding Tamagotchi, but I have been really enjoying this challenge. I wish they'd bring them back and re-release the Umino or the ocean. That would be so perfect for summer. Okay guys, something just happened. As you can see, our Kuragechi just evolved into... So his name is Ototochi, and as far as I know, he's the good care teen, which I didn't expect at all because I really thought I missed some of the calls. But we made it and it was all worth it. I want him to stay alive forever. Now we only need to make it to the adult stage. We're almost there. Yeah, it was definitely a struggle, but it feels very, very rewarding. Actually, I don't even care about which adult character I get. I'm perfectly fine with any of those, as long as he makes it to adulthood. Today is a new day, and I wanted to give you guys a little update on Ototochi. He is quite needy, but he's not as needy as Kuragechi. What I think is really, really funny is when you look closely, the poo will follow Ototochi wherever he goes until you clean it. It should take around 2 days until Ototochi evolves into an adult. Wish me luck, guys. I really, really, really do hope that he'll make it. So far, he hasn't been sick at all. Okay, guys, a little update. So my Ototochi was calling out for me, and I checked his meters. They're all full. So Basically, I'd have to discipline him with this icon on the bottom left corner, but he's not reacting to it, so I'm not sure what exactly is happening here. I tried tapping the screen and just reacting with it as well, but he doesn't really, but it doesn't really do anything. Okay guys, I don't know exactly what happened, but it just suddenly started beeping, so I guess... Yes. My Umino is dead. This is so sad. But let's not lose hope. I think we can do it. It should be within my possibilities to raise this tama until adulthood. Now let's wait for a good egg to hatch. Guys, do you see this? He just evolved. Look at him, I finally made it. No way, no way. I even think that this is the good cat character. I just looked it up and his name is Kero Pyeonchi. He's so cute. Okay, it was worth it. It was worth it. It took me very long and I did pause it a few times. So he's 5 years old, 20 grams. And the water is tidy, he's not too hungry and not too unhappy. The discipline wasn't really high. No way, can't believe it. But yeah, we finally made it. Thank you guys for accompanying me on this rough journey. We'll move on to my review, just a general summary of how to take care of your Umino to reach adulthood. And I'll just summarize all of the things I learned throughout all of my trials, and hopefully I can help you guys get your adult too. So this concludes the gameplay part. I noted down all of the important info that I've gathered from my kind of like journey that I had with my Umino. So first, when you're starting off raising your tama, I'd recommend filling up all of the hearts with like 4 food items and then 4 snack items. In the baby stage, it doesn't make a difference if you're like playing with it or feeding it snacks, and the snacks are just a lot quicker. And when it's calling out for you for the first time, check the meters. How many hunger hearts are missing in relation to the happiness hearts? That is important because ideally you want to have lost 4 hungry hearts in relation to 1 happiness heart. So when it's calling out to you, all hungry hearts should be empty and only 1 happiness heart should be missing. Here again, the chart that I thought was very, very helpful to me. It just saves you a little bit of time and a little bit of heartache, I'd say, because this info, the hunger and happiness heart loss ratio, can just give you so much information already about the probability of you raising your tama to adulthood. Yeah, that's something I wish I had known sooner. And as for the ratio, you want it to be 4:1. Ideally, but do keep in mind to not feed snacks from the childhood stage on anymore, because that will increase the weight of your tama and potentially make it more susceptible to sickness. As far as pausing goes, don't be afraid to pause your tama. So don't worry about going to the clock setting function and pausing your tama with this workaround and also adjusting the time, because I have found that it doesn't really make a difference. Didn't have the feeling that it was influencing the probability of my tama reaching adulthood, but I cannot confirm it 100%. And as for the mini game, I have found a little strategy that I felt like helped me win the mini game in most cases if an octopus is not appearing. And that is, if you're starting the mini game, observe your first choice. Let's say you select the left chest first and the treasure is not there. So in the next round, you select the chest on the other side, and in most cases it should be there. There are a few rounds where it doesn't work out. I'm sure there are like kind of patterns that you probably can figure out, but this method was like a very quick way for me to fill up the happiness hearts. I'd also be careful with canceling the minigame. I don't know if that's like something really in the programming, but for me, I felt like the octopus was appearing more often when I cancelled the minigames before. And when I just stick it through, even though I've lost the minigame already, I felt like the octopus wasn't appearing as much. As for disciplining, if your tama's calling out to you and neither of the both meters are empty, you need to discipline him because he's kind of like baiting you to take care of him when neither of his meters are empty. But if the meters are empty and he doesn't let you feed him or like play with him, you need to discipline him as well, because he's like kind of throwing a tantrum and you need to discipline him in order to let him allow you to feed him and play with him. I'm saying him because for me, my planktonchi was a he. I don't think it has a gender, but for me, my planktonchi was a male. Don't be confused by the lights sometimes turning on and off on their own. That's a very like unique thing about the Umino. At a certain time in the day, your tama, while it's still not asleep, the lights will shut off and it'll just show a dark screen. And the same thing in the morning, your tama will still be asleep while the lights are already turned on. Even if you shut off the lights in the night before when it went to sleep, this is just one unique thing about the Umino. Nothing to be worried about. So some info I gathered from various guides. I'll try to link them all in the description box. One is if at any time you need to give it medicine more than 2 times to cure it, it probably won't make it to adulthood, and it's your decision if you want to restart right away or still give it a try. I gave it a try multiple times and it still, yeah, it didn't make it, and now I can really confirm this info. I had like 1 or 2 instances where I tried to give it like medicine more than 2 times and it didn't really help, and just a few hours later it passed away. So there seems to be a correlation between the amount of medicine you have to give and the probability of it like passing away. And apparently if it gets sick 6 hours before it should evolve, that's also kind of an indicator that your tama won't make it. But at the end, I think part of it is definitely luck. Even if you have the hungry and happiness heart loss ratio of 90%, there's still the 10% chance that your tama won't make it. Yeah, so you definitely need a little bit of luck too. Honestly, it was a real hard challenge. I was really contemplating just uploading the video after like the 7th attempt or so, because I had it running for, I think it must have been like 3 weeks or so. I took a break somewhere in between and I was really contemplating on just leaving it as it is, as a testimony to how challenging this tama is. But I'm glad that I made it, and I was able to show you guys the adult tama. Here he is. He fought his way through to adulthood. He is adorable. I'm so proud of him that he made it to adulthood. Unfortunately, all of his sisters and brothers didn't make it. At the beginning of the video, you may have noticed I wasn't very structured or strategic with raising my tama. I was so naive to think that I could raise him just by luck and just by going into it. So you can definitely try to raise it without any of like the guides that I used. But if you do want the highest chances of succeeding, I'd recommend taking the guides on Gotchi Garden, for example, as a reference. Yeah, so at the end, I can definitely confirm this is the hardest Tamagotchi to raise. I don't know about the Devil Gotchi. If any of you guys have both of these tamas, please, please, please let me know. I'd love to know if the Devil Gotchi is just as needy and just as difficult to raise as the Umino. I'm really proud of myself and you guys for sticking with me throughout this challenge, and hopefully this video can help you to raise your Umino as well. Other than that, I thank you guys so much for watching my video. As always, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Please take care and I hope to see you very soon. Bye!